Started. All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. I am so excited to introduce our guest today, which is Miss Karen Liz Albert from BehindYourCurtain.com. Karen is a social media expert. For those of you that are trying to get your message out to the masses, you're going to want to pay close attention because she's going to be dropping some knowledge bombs, in addition to the social media management and excellence that she's been doing. She's got over 20 years experience in marketing and consulting and really helping people to package their message and present themselves professionally, get their message out to the market and attract their perfect partner and prospect. So Karen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Brandon. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Oh, my pleasure. The first time you and I met, we were at Stacy Dowling's Mile High Leaders Awards earlier this year. And I was so impressed with you because not only were you dazzling the audience by sharing with them tips and ways that they could really become socially relevant, but then after that, you rocked the stage and you took the stage with your band and just absolutely blew everybody away with your musical capabilities. So that was so fun.
It's so fun. Absolutely. Yeah. It's all about doing what you love. Right. And yeah, just finding the joy and sharing the joy and everything, that you do. So thank you. And
talk about standing out. Go ahead.
Mile High Leaders event. That's an annual event and it's coming up again in February of 2023. So
we just signed up to sponsor, so I'm super excited. We love Stacy Dowling. She's one of our favorite people on the planet. For those of you looking for a great mortgage lender, check out Stacy Dowling at Revolution Mortgage. We always recommend her to anybody in the Denver area, and then she's licensed in other states too. So shameless promotion for Stacy Dowling.
Yes, we love Stacy. Absolutely.
I loved what you did that night for so many reasons. And I want to talk more about Mile High Leaders Awards because it's such a great example of somebody like Stacy, who's one of your clients, right? And I think you kind of helped her sort of package and promote that and share that message with a wider audience. But it's such a great example for the way that I experience you is you just gave, right? You led with education and you were raw and you just magnetized every person in the audience. And so that's part of what you teach, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. I mean, I'm sort of hoping, and so it's good that you picked up on that because I'm hoping that I'm sort of emulating, what it is that I want my students and my clients to practice as well. Because there is so much noise out there on the, world of World Wide Web, right? and especially when it comes to social media, it is, I find that my clients, which are almost 100% real estate professionals, they tend to fall into one of two categories. They're either like in complete avoidance of social media, right? They're like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I'm just not doing anything. Or they fall in the bucket of I'm a hamster on the wheel and I'm in it all the time and I'm posting and I'm not, seeing any results. Now more than ever is the time to figure out a way that you can be on it, not a hamster in a wheel, which I call mistaking activity for progress, right? You're doing it, but are you actually, is it accomplishing something? We can say, checked off that box. Yep, I posted today. But was it actually going towards a specific goal that you are, which you should be, right?
Is it moving the needle is what you're saying, right? Is it making
exactly? Yeah. So it shouldn't be scary. It shouldn't be overwhelming. It shouldn't be time consuming. It should be something that you actually are excited about doing and know how to do it in a strategic way that's going to help you really start to show up, but not just show up, but show up in a way that is adding value, right? Not showing up to everybody, but showing up to the community that you really want to attract as a result of, using social media in an effective strategic way. And that all comes down to being really clear about who is it that you want to attract. And especially for real estate agents, they really have to hone in on that, because every time I ask them that question, who is it that you want to attract as a result of using social media? They're like, anybody with a pulse, right?
I'm
And I
so
get
glad you
that, but
said
it
that.
doesn't work.
I'm so glad you said that because, I know one of the things that you teach is your vibe attracts your tribe, right?
Yeah,
And so part of it is really being authentic and real about
yeah,
who you are. And, oftentimes when we're creating social media, it sort of feels like we're on stage and we're performing in front of an audience. And I think that's kind of the old school way to do it, isn't it? I mean,
yeah,
it's really about getting raw and real. And, I talk about it getting naked with people
yeah.
because the more they feel like they really know you, the more
Mhm.
that they feel like they can really trust you. Isn't that true?
It's so true, absolutely. And being transparent about what you're trying to accomplish. There's so much out there right now that is so inauthentic. And
Yeah.
I even feel like that word authentic is getting a little bit overused as well. But you really want to show up in a way that is really adding value to the community that you're wanting to show up. And the only way you know how to do that is by truly wanting to understand what their needs are, who are
Yeah.
they, and what are their needs. And I've been doing this for a lot. Started my company, gosh, it's been over 12 years now. And I'll tell you, every time that I've seen really true success stories is when like attracts like, right?
Yeah.
When agents have really been able to identify with a community because that community identifies with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agents that I work with, we spend time really unpacking who that is and
Right.
what that looks like. And so then how do you then translate that into a social media strategy so that you can start to show up in front of that particular demographic or community in a way that is going to add value and not just be all, hey, look at me, I'm a real estate agent, and don't you want me to be the one that helps you find your new home or sells your next, your is the next listing agent. Because that's just what everybody else is saying, right? So you have to have a competitive advantage, and you have to be
You
able
do.
to communicate in a way that's going to get them to stop the scroll, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everybody's scrolling all day long on that
All day
news feed.
long.
So what do you do to show up on the news feed, number one, and
Yeah.
add value through content so that they'll stop the scroll and recognize you as someone that they're attracted to, right?
Yeah, it's so
They want
true.
to pay
We
attention
talk about
to.
headlines in marketing, and here at
Mhm.
HOA.com, we're always teaching these pros because a lot of people don't have a marketing degree, like I do. So their focus is on painting or plumbing or being the best realtor
Right.
possible. And they're great at marketing their listings, but not always marketing their message, right? And
Exactly.
themselves. We teach hyper local social farming. We teach
Yep.
focus on a specific, I love the fact that you use community. And there's
Mhm.
two ways to think about community, right? Community is everybody that you're in relationship with. I call that your social sphere, right?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
also community is the neighborhoods that you
Yeah.
serve. And that's where realtors have been doing farming for
Yeah.
years. And now there's this new thing called hyper local social farming, where
Mhm.
you can really target not only through direct mail, but also through social media, the
Absolutely.
individual homeowners that live in these neighborhoods. And that's what we're pioneering at HOA.com. So I love for you to talk about the power of farming and
Yeah.
how you've seen that really make a difference to the realtors that you serve.
Absolutely. And I love that's your focus too, because it's completely in alignment with my focus and my strategy also.
Well, it's
And
what works, right?
it's what works.
Proven.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's what helps you become efficient, right?
Yes.
I mean, imagine
And
how
famous. We want our people to be famous in those
right.
communities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Efficient and famous. And imagine if you're trying to just reach everybody, how exhausting that is.
Yeah.
It's so time consuming, and you can get burnt out very, very quickly. So um, it's really, really not only important that it'll help you to be seen, but it's also like, we have to work smart. We just have to. There are so many things that are coming at us every day that are saying, invest your time here, invest your time, invest your money here, invest it here. But if you can get really, really focused and efficient, that's when you can really start to see some return on your efforts. Because, I'll give you some examples of
Right.
agents that I've worked with that have really, really taken this strategy and this sort of hyper local focus, right? And taken it even farther than what I had suggested. And I love that out of the box thinking with it. But one of the agents that I worked with several years ago, he's a brand new baby agent in Los Angeles, Southern California, West Los Angeles. And, he was like, that's competition, right there. That's
a massive market.
That's a massive market with a lot of competition.
Right.
And so he hired me saying, Karen, how can you help me to be seen? I need to start generating some income here. And so basically, we recognize he was a newlywed, and he and his wife were absolute pet lovers. So they fostered kittens and donated their time and all of that. And what?
Oh, keep going. I was trying to get my dog over here so we can.
Oh, yes. Your dog needs to be in this conversation.
I mean, come on, right?
Oh, yeah.
How
I have
cute is
3 little
Bobo?
ones at my feet, actually. I love
Sorry,
that.
I didn't mean to distract you, but you talk about dog lovers and.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, pet lovers are pretty passionate, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, well, how do you feel about us branding you as the realtor to pet lovers? And he was like, can we do that? I'm like,
so smart.
You can do anything you want to. So he took it one step further, really out of the box. And he basically turned in his Jetta for a 4Runner and completely transformed the back of the 4Runner, like had the leashes and the treats and the dog walkers. And he even had a cat carrying case. He called me a couple of years ago. He was like, I took a cat to look at showings because pet lovers are passionate, right?
Brilliant.
And so he made himself the expert, the HOA, the breed restrictions, he knew. And then if you think about when you get clear on who it is you want to attract and where that hyper local neighborhood is that you want to focus on, then you can also start to attract the other businesses that cater to that demographic as well. So I taught him how to connect his social media pages with the vets and the dog walkers and the groomers. And so that becomes like quid pro quo, right? You refer them, they refer you. All of his branding,
we call those referral partners, right?
Exactly. That's right. And imagine, going back to my point, how exhausting it is if you're trying to be an everything to everybody, but you get clear on a niche and who it is you want to attract. It's just so much easier to apply that strategy. And he became the number 3 agent in his office in less than 2 years because he just focused on that niche and that hyper local area. Because if you think about the type of content he was then putting out there on social media, it wasn't all about real estate. It was content that was going to show up on the newsfeed of pet lovers.
Wait, hold the presses. Are you saying that animals stop the scroll?
I know, right?
My wife spends babies. My wife spends every night looking at dog feed. I promise you, every night on the couch, she's on dog feeds on Instagram every single night like clockwork.
And that's a really important point, because the reason why she's seeing those is because the algorithm has been tracking all of the things that she is giving her attention to. So that's a huge component that you want to make sure you're leveraging this data that's being mined by all of these users. So if you can tap into that data, then you're going to start to show up not on the newsfeed of everybody, but on the newsfeed of who it is that you want to attract, because we are so predictable, right? We are posting and engaging with content all day long that we find of interest. So just figure out how to tap into that and start showing up in front of those people. But again, if you're trying to be everything to everybody, the algorithm doesn't have a profile called an everybody, right? So you got to give it, the algorithm, tell it who it is you want to show up in front of. Then it'll start actually helping you to be seen. But you try to be everything to everybody, you're not going to be seen. So that's how what I teach and work with the agents is how you go from being seen by maybe a few hundred to literally 10, 20, 30,000 people. And again, not 30,000 of just anybody, but 30,000 of the ones that are wanting to know you and get to know you because you've proven that you know them and you are adding value through what's showing up on their news feed.
I
It's
love
a
it. You
game
helped take
changer.
that guy from baby realtor to boss realtor in 24 months. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
exactly. And I'm not a magician, right? It's just knowing how to do things in a more effective strategic. And you and I know it's marketing 101. You're
It is.
never going to see a marketing campaign written without them, step one, knowing exactly who it is they're wanting to attract as a result of that
Yeah, in the
campaign.
Raving Referrals book, we call it your perfect prospect profile. If you had to
I
write,
love it.
your avatar,
Yeah.
and what I say is,
Yeah.
if you're waving your magic wand, right? If you're waving
There it
your
is.
magic wand and saying, okay, if I could have any person on the planet as my
Yeah,
client, who is that? What does that look like? You've
exactly.
got to get crystal clear on exactly who it is that you're trying to attract in your business. And shouldn't it be somebody that you love hanging out with?
Absolutely. That's right. I know. And
I mean, this
I
guy's playing with dogs all day long. I think it's brilliant.
exactly. Yeah. And yeah, and for me, I decided about 6, 7 years ago to actually practice what I preach
Yeah.
and not try and be a social media expert to everybody. And
Yep.
I really looked at, who have I really been able to help over the years and who do I want to continue to do that? Who do I really enjoy working with? And real estate agents and real estate professionals and loan officers, like they are ones that continuously were bubbling up to the surface of
Yeah.
past clients and ones that I really like to work with. I mean, can I work and help any small business owner? Absolutely. But, you've heard the riches are in the niches. That's that's a very common statement, but it's a very, very true statement because that's what's going to make the difference in how you are starting to see success and generate some serious leads and make money as a result of having social media as a part of your marketing strategy.
Well, and as a result of you helping make other people famous, you've become famous in the process. I have to
Right.
tell everybody, I'm going to get, shameless shout out for you, Karen. I was at the National Association of Realtors conference last month in Orlando. And as I'm walking the booth, I see your face there with Sabine, right, from
Yep.
Highbology. And
Yep.
so here I am, walking along, and then I see Karen Liz Albert's face and credentials up there because you've done such a great job in helping elevate others'
Mm.
expert status that it's elevated yours at the same time, hasn't it?
Yeah. Thank you for acknowledging that. I appreciate that. But yes,
Cool.
it absolutely has. And it's a matter of, again, just kind of honing in on, like you're saying, it's that hyper local, that social farming that we're
Yeah,
talking about,
that's right.
because that's what's going to help you get famous.
And the
That's what's going to help
consistency
you
of
see.
the communication too,
Yeah.
right? Like you can't just put out a post once and hope that people come see you. I mean, I've started doing these short videos. Okay.
Mhm.
And as soon as we get done with this interview, I'm going to give it to my team. They're going to put it out there. And now we've got content. We'll be able to cut it up. So guys, if you're listening to this,
Exactly.
and Karen, sorry if I'm stealing your thunder, because you're probably going to teach and train about this in just a moment, but by
Go for it.
interviewing experts in different areas that are helping the clients that you serve,
Yeah.
you're educating, you're empowering, and you're attracting that perfect prospect. Because this interview will give us a bunch of little clips, right? We'll take out 30, 60-second sound bites
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
be able to put that out into the social sphere. And so I've started recording videos under a minute long. Quite frankly, I don't know what happens after I do it because I give it to my team and they put it online, and I'm
Great.
not personally on social media, but it's important that my message is, right?
Absolutely.
And what happens is, because your message is out there in the market, people see you over and over. I
Mhm.
was at an event the other day, and people are telling me they're watching my videos. And I was just on today with a conversation. Somebody's connecting me with a billionaire that owns a real estate company because they're seeing
Wow.
my message.
Yeah.
It's attracting them, and
Right.
then they start telling other people
Yeah.
about me. And you can do the same, can't you, Karen?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you never know. I was talking about this at the last HOA networking meeting that I was at, that you never know where someone is going to see you. So prime
Right.
example is and not being shy about telling people, what you do. And, I think we get a little sensitive about, oh, I don't want my, every time I'm with my friends or friends of friends, that they feel like all I'm doing is talking about work, right? And all
Yeah.
about me. And I got a phone call about 2 weeks ago from a friend of a friend. I mean, I was at his wedding.
Yeah.
I was my brother's date at his wedding. And I knew he was in real estate and we'd seen each other. But again, I didn't want to be like that pitchy person, right? And he called me because he saw an email from Wise Agent that they were interviewing me and we were doing a webinar together. And he was like,
that's awesome.
I had no idea that you were an expert in social media for realtors. And I went, oh, shame on me, right? Like,
Right.
how does he not know that? He's in my circle. And how does he not know that? So we forget that we have so much value to add.
Huge.
To everybody all the time. And so, don't worry about being able to share what your expertise is and let people know that this is my passion, right? This is what I love doing.
My wife teases me, Karen, because, her friends are like, oh my gosh, I see Brandon in my feed all the time now. What's going on? And I say, look, if they don't like it, just tell them to mute me or unfollow me, unfriend me. I don't care. Like, honestly, I'm not posting personal stuff. My wife does that.
Yeah.
Okay? I post for business purposes. That's what I'm creating content for.
Yeah.
And if there are people that aren't attracted to that, that's okay. Like, I'm here to attract the people that are attracted to my message.
Right.
And I love what you just said too about Brandon Wise and Wise Agent. We're huge fans.
I know they're
in
awesome.
the Valley, so we get to meet him personally. But what they are doing is so brilliant. And by you being interviewed by Brandon Wise, by you being interviewed by Brandon Barnum of HOA.com, again, it elevates your status. And people see that you're a famous social media expert. So good for you.
Yes, thank you. Well,
so
and
how do other people take advantage of that same power?
Well, one thing that I have definitely noticed is that, and I think we've all heard this, is that we are only as good or effective or successful as those that we surround ourselves, right? Like the who's our tribe, right? And I've noticed that, so this is sort of a plug for you, is that I've noticed that since I have become involved with HOA, that it has really opened up a lot of opportunities for me to be connected with those other like-minded professionals that are not just all about themselves and how do they, become the millionaires or billionaires or whatever, but it's like-minded in a sense of wanting to serve others. Like, how can I help you? What can we do? Like us today, right? Let's get on a Zoom and let's, like you're so kind to have this interview, and just knowing that it comes back, right? Tenfold, but you're not doing it for that significant purpose. It's just, you have that servant's heart, and I can tell that about you. And I've seen that in a lot of other professionals that are involved with HOA.com as well.
Well, that's who we're attracting, right?
Exactly. That's right. And so and then being able to pay it forward, right? Like, who am I going to now go interview, because I want to basically be able to help and do the same thing as well, because it's just all that good positive energy that we're all kind of wanting to put out there.
It's so important. My personal passion is teaching people to be charity champions. I was at a fundraising event a week ago. My license plate back in Oregon was give more. Like, literally, that was the message I wanted to infect everyone with, is pay it forward, give more. We do at HOA.com, we do community impact events every single month. Like, literally today, we're kicking off the best dressed home contest. And our whole focus is creating socially shareable content that our pros can share with others, because they're too busy, right? Especially the blue collar guys, the painter, the plumber, the HVAC person, they're out there, and typically they come serve you and then they go in ghost mode. You never hear from them again. So we're giving them content that they can use to raise the vibe and then to
Good.
keep themselves socially relevant, to be
Yeah.
famous in those local communities.
It's a game changer for them.
Yeah,
And it's not a lot, right? It's not a lot, but it helps, like we were saying before, like it helps move the needle. But it's the kind of stuff that they wouldn't necessarily think of.
it's
Is
so important. So
They
Karen,
they lay their head on the pillow at night and they're just like, I got to make sure that I've got enough business coming in, right? And
that's
they're
it.
not necessarily thinking about what you're giving to them,
I was
helping.
speaking at an event down in Dallas this week, in Dallas, Texas this weekend, and I was asking the audience their number one business concern: what keeps you up at night?
Mhm.
And it's attracting clients, right? So
Yep.
everybody has this issue. Karen, as we wrap this up, you do something that's super special that people should know about. You do a 30-day social media facelift. So
Yeah.
how do people get in touch with you if they want to talk to you about making themselves famous in their local communities?
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
All right.
So the easiest way, quite honestly, is just to go to my website, behindyourcurtain.com. And right at the top of the website, there's a button that says schedule a call with me. And during that call, I'm going to ask a lot of questions. I want to know about you. I want to know how I can help you, and, see if it's a fit for us to work together. But especially right now, being end of year, right? Going into a new year, this is such a fantastic time for realtors, especially, to really look at what can they be doing, because we've got a shift that's happening in the market right now, right? So the frenzy's kind of over. So they have to look at some other creative ways to be able to get in front of that potential next client in their community. And how do you dominate that community? And it's not difficult. So behindyourcurtain.com is the best way to connect with me and have them schedule a call.
Well, and it's really not hard to dominate a community and become famous. We say the mayor of Murray Hill, but it depends on the name of your community.
Yeah.
Through our new program too. So if you don't know about our HOA.com hyper local social farming concept, you definitely should reach out. You can connect at HOA.com. Somebody on my team will be helping you, and connect with Karen. Go to behindyourcurtain.com, schedule a one-on-one. Right? She's going to empower you. She's going to equip you. I've seen this woman work up in Denver. I go out to Florida and there she is. Everybody is talking about Karen Liz Albert, and it's because of the vibe that you give, because you are such a giver, Karen. So thank you for sharing your brilliance and your wisdom with us today. And everybody out there, go to behindyourcurtain.com to connect with Karen and learn more.
Thanks,
Karen,
Brandon.
any last words?
No, I'm just grateful for you. I'm grateful for this opportunity, and let's make a difference. Let's make an impact.
Let's grow together. Well, I hope I'm going to get to join you at the next Mile High Leader Awards. I've got a speaking gig in Vegas that morning, and so I'm going to see if I can fly after my speaking gig from Vegas to Denver to join you. But if not, I'll be with you in spirit, and some of my team will be there with you. So Karen, thank you for your time today.
Thanks so much,
if you're
Brandon.
watching, take action today, okay? Regardless of what it is. If you haven't posted ever before, we want to give you the confidence to just take action and get started. It doesn't matter what you say, just start sharing what's important to you. And if you need help, if you need confidence, connect with Karen. Go to behindyourcurtain.com, get connected. She's going to empower you, equip you, and help you feel like the rock star that you are. So from all of us at HOA.com to all of you, we appreciate you. Go out there, take action, and win by noon. Take care.